Hey everybody, this is Jack with All Streets Gourmand. We're here at Universal Studios Hollywood, and we're here to check out the inaugural FanFest event. This is really exciting because it's the first time they're doing it here on the West Coast. And celebrate fandom, they're doing a couple of specially themed events this year, and we're really excited about those. Back to the Future, Star Trek, One Piece, Dungeons and Dragons. One thing we're going to do too is we're going to show you a couple of hints and tricks to enjoy your stay. So for example, one of those is we're in the park actually way earlier than expected by getting the 2 p.m. Day-night pass, which also gets us experiences starting at 5:30. So we actually got into the park around 2 o'clock. We felt that was the best way of checking things out in advance of the 7 o'clock start time for FanFest. And so we've already been doing some looking around. Keep watching because we're also going to tell you that you can enjoy FanFest without having to go in the parks necessarily. By coming in early, you actually get the chance to check things out before they open. So then you get a kind of a sense of what's going to be open beforehand, which we kind of like, and we want to make sure we're standing outside the Star Trek Red Alert event, so at least we know where to queue. So as we walk around, we're kind of picking those things up. First things first, got to get a coffee. It's a Friday afternoon. The weather is a bit brisk already. It's in the 50s. Interesting weather for California right now. So the next thing we're going to do is walk around. We're going to check more of those items out. There's a lot of food here, so we're going to definitely impart that to you. The other thing we want to do too is show you a quick overview of how the park is laid out, because I think that's very key if you haven't been to Universal before. So let's show you that first.
Now, as you look at a map of Universal Studios Hollywood, we highly recommend that you get the lay of the land before you go. It is actually spread out against the backdrop of a working studio. And in fact, the night we were there on the tram ride going to Hill Valley, they mentioned that they were doing a series shoot that night for The Burbs. So keep in mind, they consider it 2 levels, but when you start to count the different escalators and walkways, it actually feels a little bit more like several different levels. Key thing for the FanFest is the Hill Valley Back to the Future area is a tram ride. So you're going to want to make sure as soon as you get there, or even a little bit before, that it is to the east of the Simpsons area. And the studio tram will then take you down and will take you back up. The Dungeons and Dragon area is actually dispersed around the lower lot. It's fairly adjacent to Super Nintendo World. The Star Trek experiences and food are closer to the main entrance. One Piece and Jujitsu Kaisen is actually right next to each other as you walk toward Harry Potter.
This little perch that we're on, which is overlooking the Fast and the Furious ride, which is not yet open or completed construction. The park is built on 2 different levels. And just kind of keep that in mind as far as getting around the park. You kind of want to make sure ahead of time where you're at locality-wise, and then kind of stick there. So just keep that in mind when you come.
The escalator steps are approaching.
All right, so we're in Super Nintendo World, and we're going to try out Toadstool Cafe. So they have a couple of new items to celebrate Yoshi's stand-up appearance here in the park. So let's go inside and check things out. We're waiting for our food at Toadstool Cafe. So they're celebrating with a couple of special food items that really coincide with FanFest. We're going to get both of those items. So we ordered the Yoshi fettuccine alfredo and also the Yoshi smoothie, which is an apple melon drink. So we're waiting for our items right now. Before those items come out, we wanted to let you know a couple of other items just to help you out. We try to overcome the parking situation here, but it's one of those things that are just going to be what they are. So it's $35 for parking for the day, and we just did general parking. The other thing is the event runs from April 25th through May 18th on select days. So just make sure that you check the calendar before you come, and also use the website to get your tickets. All right, so we're at Toadstool Cafe, and it took us a long time to get our food. Actually had to get up and actually ask for what was going on with the dish, and then it came right out. And we're trying the Yoshi fettuccine alfredo. Basically a very standard sauce, along with mushrooms and bits of chicken and broccoli. Broccoli making it green, There was also a Yoshi egg on the top that was made up of bread with a bit of seaweed flakes on it. So it was a pretty cute dish. The Alfredo was pretty standard. And then the apple melon drink is actually pretty hefty, pretty good size there. Got brain freeze a few times trying to drink it. The drink is actually extremely sweet, so just keep that in mind. If you're not into like really deep sweets, you're gonna have to share this one with somebody else because it's very, very sweet.
Now, we promised you to give you some hints and tricks about getting items if you are not making it into the FanFest itself. You can actually go down to City Walk, and most of the merchandise options that we saw in the park seem to be outside. Merchandise is extreme with these events. We really appreciate Universal's commitment to getting all sorts of merchandise options out there. It wasn't too difficult for us to find some of the items that we were looking for, but just keep in mind, if you're not going to go to the FanFest, you can go right outside into City Walk. This also goes for food options as well. If you go to the Inside Universal website, they list things like the Sunny Donut, speaking of One Piece, is actually available at the City Walk Voodoo Donuts. And if you go to City Walk, a lot of the restaurants are participating in FanFest with their own items, so make sure to check those restaurants out.
You won't even notice the time jump. One moment you're here, and the next, bam, Destination Hill Valley, 1955.
So we're lucky to be down here in Hill Valley. We went backwards in time to 1955, and so we're here in the town square. And what's really fun about the FanFest is it's very interactive. The characters from Back to the Future are walking in and out. They're kind of flowing into the crowds. It's really fun. It's really interactive. We had the band playing the music from the Enchantment Under the Sea dance. So Universal's just really an excellent job with that immersive experience, the interactivity of it, and the ambiance just in general. So you really do feel like you're backwards in time here in 1955 Hill Valley. But just really a great time. We're going to show you a couple of the food options, but we got to go upstairs to the Mel's Diner area, which we're going to do next.
As the lightning strikes the tower, everything will be fine.
So we're here inside Mel's Diner, trying out the Back to the Future items. We've got the Doc Brown's chicken pot pie with a very heavy dusting of Cheetos. We also have the Time Traveler's milkshake. and make sure to ask for that by name. There's plenty of milkshakes here, so the time travels one is very specific. Now I try to order a couple of the out of time cookies, and I was not able to score those, so that was a little bit of a disappointment. So that might be one of the hints and tricks, is to, if there's something that you want to get, go get it early. We're only about 2 hours into this one, and the cookies are gone for the night. They're really cute. We'll show you a shot of one of those. So with that, let's go ahead and try our chicken pot pie first. So it's a very tough pastry. I'm going to need a knife. So it's going to instantly get destroyed. That's number one. The thing is piping hot. Oh, actually, as a pot pie, it's quite delicious. I have to say too, the Cheetos are adding a different element to it. So it's giving that kind of distinctive Cheetos flavor, along with a very traditional pot pie. Not bad. Different option.
Now, you saw our 2 items at Mel's Diner associated with Back to the Future. There was a couple of other items that were getting buzz, including the Flux Capacitor Patty Melt, which is an all-beef patty with caramelized onions, cheese, and Thousand Island dressing. The Time Machine, which is a pastrami melt with Swiss cheese and cabbage slaw.
All right, so the next thing we're going to try is the Time Traveler's Milkshake. Now, this thing's quite pretty, with a nice silver flaking on there, along with a couple of beads on the top. Now, if there's any indicator, when we went to Toadstool Cafe, the shake there was extremely sweet, almost if they compressed sugar in there. Let's see how this one goes. Okay, not as sweet as the Toadstool Cafe, which is good. Nice traditional milkshake. You got your vanilla in there. Very creamy with the whipped cream. I'm not sure if I'm tasting... It's like a blue candy. So the candy shell is long. It kind of goes along with the blue that's in there. Quite good. All right, so a couple of tips and tricks, since we have a little kind of a quiet spot here, is we noticed the timing of things is not exactly what you think it was. So by example, we went over to the Back to the Future item as an early bird at 5:30. Come to find out they were not offering the tram until 6:30. That's about an hour gap. So we shifted gears and went over to Jujitsu Kaisen, the show that was there first, and then over to Star Trek Red Alert. That was crucial. One other thing, as we noticed, going into Mel's Diner, they actually close at 1 a.m. So kind of keep that in mind too. Timing is something that you're going to be fluid, I believe, but adjust quickly so you're not wasting your time, because why stay there for an hour when there's other things to do? And then it was very easy to walk on later on to Back to the Future. Come to find out, with Back to the Future too, is that you want to get there at night, because a lot of the show is actually easier to see at night than during the day. So we got there, I think, at a really good time, to golden hour, and then over into night. Now, the other thing we wanted to show you is there's a couple of rules with cosplay, so we made just like a short little clip for you, so that way you enjoy your stay. We see a lot of cosplayers. I love cosplaying, not to cosplay myself, but admiring all the people and the time they take with their costumes. So here's a quick little thing to think about when you come here.
All right, a note about cosplay. We really enjoy Universal for their openness with their cosplay options. Check out the official site for rules and guidelines, so that way you make sure to have an enjoyable evening. Also keep in mind that a lot of the rides require you to put things away, and those lockers are not very large. Even the large lockers probably wouldn't fit a lot of the cosplay items that people have, so just keep that in mind.
All right, so with that, we're going to go try a couple other items, this time over with the Star Trek.
To tour our facility orbiting 8th and Prime, here at the Fleet Museum. We offer daily tours of some of the most celebrated Starfleet vessels to have ever ventured among the stars.
We're losing magnetic containment! Red color. Please, step away from the floor.
Proceed to your transporters for immediate evacuation.
We need to get everyone off this ship now!
Stand by for incoming transmission.
peace. We mean you no harm. We apologize for concern. We were curious, fascinated by your kind.
Computer, scan and identify the entity.
There is currently no entry for this life form in the Federation database.
Wait, what?
You too were born of the stars.
All right, so we wanted to come over to the Star Trek area to try some of the food offerings here. So we went over to Quark's Bar and got the Cardassian dog. This is a Korean-inspired type of kimchi dog, very well encrusted with a special sauce and French fries. And then we got the Andorian ale, which it feel a little catfished. It's a bit smaller than I thought it was going to be, but it harkens back to the Las Vegas Hilton Star Trek experience. So I'm getting it for nostalgias, but it's got a rock candy and a vodka type ale. There is a Picard-inspired Earl Grey liqueur, and I got it hot as opposed to cold. So we're going to give this one a shot as well.
This was definitely by far the most colorful of the food items for the evening. So if you're looking for some color and some interesting items, this is the place to come.
Pop rocks. What was really a standout tonight was the tea Earl Grey hot. Oh wow. This is a whiskey Earl Grey honey and lemon juice garnished with a dehydrated lemon wheel. But it was a very delicate drink, very ultra sweet. Just was really standout for the evening.
A couple of notes on the Star Trek Quark's Cafe. There were very interesting items like the Klingon targ legs. These are char siu honey pork wings served with kimchi fried rice. Originally, we were going to try the Bajoran Hasperat. This is a slow-cooked spicy pork. And the item that there was quite a bit of buzz about was the Triple Truffle Trio. This was a trio of chocolate truffles topped with coconut. One thing we need to talk about, because ASG was just not aware of this, but One Piece being as popular as it is, a lot of the cosplay and a lot of the folks that were interested really piled into the One Piece area. This included the food options. So we actually went back a few different times to go try out some of the food because they did have some of the more intriguing menu items. But because of the length of the line, we just opted to do some other things, and that way we retained our time in the park. So just keep that in mind when you go. The other thing we really appreciated was to see all of the different cosplay folks and the meet and greet. These were very vibrant, just fun to watch.
All right, so we're back here in Super Nintendo World, and we're going to re-emphasize a hint that we talked to you about earlier at Mel's Diner, and that things close at certain times. So we walked back over here to try the Bowser's Challenge ride, and it is closed, and they close at 10 p.m. So they're really open from 8 p to 10 p, and I don't know how you're supposed to get that information. A lot of folks we saw too were standing right in front of the line like we were and going, what's going on? Try to do things a little bit earlier because it seems like things are skewing that way. So between restaurants and attractions, again, something to keep in mind. All right, so a couple of things about the FanFest event itself. Producers of Halloween Horror Nights are the ones that produce this event, and so you can see that there's an emphasis on immersion, atmosphere, interactivity. We saw a lot of that over at the Back to the Future Hill Valley Square, and then as we go around the park, you see a lot of that too. One of the things that people are really enjoying are the photo ops. So even for like One Piece, some of the biggest lines are over there, either for the food or just waiting in line to talk with the villains villains and the pirates and all of that. It was really interesting to see that. The other thing too is the food is actually curated by executive chefs at Universal. So a lot of the choices that they're making are very well on theme and on point. So we're really appreciating that, the thought that was going into the menu curation, the type of flavors, the type of food, and we saw that at both Mel's Diner and at the Star Trek Quarks Bar. So we're gonna go try to find something else. We're not sure exactly yet, but let's go walk around and see if we can get one more food item and one more drink.
Now, a note about the app. So part of FanFest was Universal encouraging you to use the app, and we did find that it was helpful to have while there, and that is it has a digital ticket, although it did sign us out, so we recommend taking a screen grab at some point, so that way you can just pull that up if need be. The other thing is the app was required, or at least that screen grab of the QR code for the lockers. So there are free lockers for various rides. These lockers are very small, and even just kind of a normal sized backpack that we had took a bit of energy to get them into that locker. So again, another thing to keep in mind, if we opted to do it again, we would probably go with a smaller bag. And a note about the dining pass, we reviewed it, we saw it there, and it's about $65 for 2 entree items and 4 snack or drink related items. We really had a hard time seeing if this was valuable or not. Typically with a dining pass, there should be some incentive to get it, but if you start to do the math, we were having kind of a hard time to see what that value would be. One thing we noticed during the event is there is an abundance of signage. It was a mixed bag though, because some of the key things that you would really want to know, we've talked about timing, seem to come up later and not before. But keep in mind the signage is there. We do recommend that you check it out just to kind of get a sense of what's going on in the area.
Our journey begins at the Curious Past, a shop filled with artifacts and mystery.
We don't have much time. Now, where did I hide the quest details? Oh, I wouldn't worry about that. She is gorgeous, though. Xanathar, the evil crime lord, once again seeks to destroy the city of Waterdeep.
I tell you, another king order Oh! Yes! Ooh! Oh, mimic behind you! Look out! I have had quite enough of these mimic surprises. It's time for a It wasn't me!
From Xanathar. No. Disintegrate! Xanathar.
Now, let him have it!
My Silgar, I'll protect you.
Horn is right there. That's convenient. Foolish crockery and Evelina. Did you really think you did this yourselves?
All right, so another hint, and we've kind of covered a lot of them for you tonight. We've covered parking, we've covered the different passes and the pass types. We kind of gave you an idea of the way the map looks, things that close early and the hours of certain things. One of the things that you don't want to forget is to wear something warm. Universal is built on a hill and it's almost constant breeze, so dress appropriately. Just keep that in mind. I think I've seen a lot of people surprised tonight on how cold it is up here. It's the Hollywood Hills, it's the Hollywood Hilly area. It does get chilly, so just keep that in mind. All right, so we're here at the First World Tavern, part of the Dungeons & Dragons overlay, and probably one of our last entrees and one of the last drinks we're gonna have for the night. So we got the Beholder's Brew Fondue. This is a tavern loaf served with a creamy beer fondue. And then also the Eldritch Blast. This is vodka, green apple, kiwi, and lemon juice topped with Sprite. It's garnished with an electric dust rim, kiwi boba, popping pearls, and a mint. So this is actually a very tavern-like meal here. Eldritch Brew and our nice fondue. This is a beer fondue. Actually really good. A lot of times you'll have a beer fondue and you won't taste the beer. You can actually taste it in this. It's really nice. Bread's pretty good. It's a sourdough. And let's try our drink. Wow. I have to say their cocktails are really well blended. They're layering it with a lot of different types of flavors and levels of sweetness. So sometimes, like in this case, I know I'm hitting a lot of the syrup on the bottom. I will mix this next. But I really appreciate this drink and then the Earl Grey one from 10 Forward. So really well balanced cocktails. Nice. And not small either.
The First World Tavern is located in Jurassic Cove on the second floor. So where we got the Beholder's Brew, there were actually two other options to try out. The Hunter's Mark was marinated beef, arugula and cheese served on a ciabatta roll. And the Traveler's Rations were dried fruit, hardtack, cheese, and dried meats. And by far the option that seemed to be the most interesting by what we saw was the Fireball. This is a spicy chocolate brownie with a strawberry, chili, and lime filling and topped with Pop Rocks.
All right, this is Jack signing off here from Universal Hollywood FanFest. We had a great time. We're going to close it down. We're going to be here till 2 a.m. Universal did a really good job, but they probably took a lot of notes from their Halloween nights. Just because Universal spread out, they still do a really good job of trying to make you feel like it's all kind of contiguous. It's all there. It's all very seamless and how they're doing everything. So we really appreciate that. Again, we really appreciate the food offerings that they had, the experiences. We really feel like we really got a lot of value for our money compared to maybe some other events that we've done over the last couple of years. So we actually recommend it. We recommend the food items too, explore. You saw a lot of the food items that we tried. If you stick around to the end of the night, you can just walk on almost all the rides that are still left open. We want to merely make sure that you do your research before you come. The timing of what we were able to do actually kind of conflicted a bit. We weren't really exactly sure when things were going to close. Kind of keep that in mind. Do your research online as much as you can. We just gave you some research on when things close, so now you're aware of that. And that's really what All Streets Gourmand is about, making sure that you enjoy your stay as much as possible, enjoy the food as much as possible as we did. And with that, this is Jack with All Streets Gourmand, signing off.